retired Munir Khalid. Colonel Khalid, thank you very much for joining us here on the morning show today. We have seen, or rather we have heard various statements coming out from the West. We have heard Hillary Clinton saying the same thing, just as David Miliband as well, about how Pakistan's nuclear arsenal is safe. But should that be the one thing that we should worry about? What about the rest of Pakistan? What about the rest of us?
Good morning. Actually, for the West, it is a problem that, and they'd be apprehensive about it, that our nuclear arsenal may go into the hands of the terrorists. This had been their theme for long, maybe due to their nefarious designs, or they have got real, they feel that there is a real threat about it. Anyhow, yesterday's incident, it can happen anywhere. It's not all that alarming, except that it was Army's headquarters. That doesn't mean that there was something lack of security or what. If 15 determined men, they decide to do something, they are ready to die, they can enter any place they want to. We should not be worried about that. As far as security situation is concerned, yes, we have got a problem.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you there because I do worry about that. I mean, it's probably because, people in the armed forces, probably they can say that this kind of attack can happen anywhere, but we civilians, we do worry. Now, if the GHQ, general headquarters of a country, can be attacked anywhere, and we can be talking about, I'm sorry to take names, but, countries in Africa, countries that probably are still developing, underdeveloped countries, we would still expect their GHQs to be very heavily safeguarded.
GHQ is the most unarmed organization of Pakistan Army. The people working inside, it may be in thousands, but they don't have weapons. They work on the desk, they plan the things, they are not fighting. Only the guards on the perimeters and security checkposts were there. Of course, they breached one security checkpost, which was very easy because they threw bombs, hand grenades. So they overpowered them and killed the security personnel, and then they moved on. They were stopped at the next security checkpost. So it can happen if 15 determined men decide. And I still feel that if there was another vehicle of terrorists of 10 people, they could have entered the GHQ. That's because of the location, because of its importance, the general headquarters, the civilians are worried that if they can enter GHQ, they can enter anywhere. I also say that if there are determined terrorists, and they are determined terrorists, they are planning well, we must understand that we are up against a very well-organized...
because obviously determination, as far as determination is concerned, of course, we have no doubts about the determination of these militants, these terrorists. Obviously, anybody who's willing to take their own life, why would he think about others? But GHQ attack is really the culmination of a lot of other attacks which have taken place in the past week, even if we don't go back in the past months in Pakistan. And this has by far been the most, I would say, news-making target. The whole world is talking about it. I mean, of course, let alone us.
Yes, because of its location, because it was general headquarters, so the target was important, and they have achieved their goal. Their 9 persons have died, but they have achieved the propaganda goal which they wanted. Otherwise, we could take that they were 9 suicide bombers. Instead of going for GHQ, had they decided that they would go for suicide blasts, and for 9 days, if they were doing it daily in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, the impact on public would have been shattering. But they chose the high-value target, and it was propaganda value was more. The effect was not that much. Now, as far as West is concerned, West is worried that about our...
Would you call it a security lapse?
No, it's not a security lapse. Security lapse is because it was an attack. Security lapse is if I try to enter GHQ discreetly and I manage that, that's a security lapse. But they attacked the checkpost, and there were 6 persons on that checkpost, and they threw bombs, and they were naturally not expecting because the vehicle was disguised as army vehicle. So it's only on the checkpost when you reach, then you realize that the people are terrorists, and then another thing, and obviously you probably would be able to tell us better now. We
Yesterday we were hearing stories and we were watching the news as well, in which the President, Prime Minister, they were congratulating the army chief on, a successful operation. But there is nothing really to congratulate about in this whole thing. This is what we see it, because this should have been avoided. This attack should have been avoided at all costs. There is nothing to say, oh, you did a good job in getting it under control.
You see, you were demoralized, I was demoralized, the nation was demoralized. The President and the Prime Minister, it's their job that to raise the morale of the troops, the nation as a whole. And that's why they congratulated the army for this. And of course, army did a good job. They could have gone in. Had they gone in, inside there were no weapons with anyone. So congratulating the army is correct, because the nation gets, the morale gets high again, that yes, we did a tremendous job. And yes, we did. Of course, our persons lost lives.
Colonel Khalid, my final question to you: who is behind this attack? Is it militants? Is it Indians?
They are Pakistanis. They are pure Pakistanis. And they may be getting funds from abroad, but we should not. We should be straight in our thinking that they are Pakistanis. We trained them. We feeded them. We shouldn't have done it 30 years ago. We put our people, our civilians in Lashkars, and we made them fight in Kashmir. We made them fight in Afghanistan. We took credit for whatever America did. And this 30 years American war, today we are reaping the fruit of whatever we did 30 years ago. It's time that we must think over it, that we must reverse this process, the whole process. We must take out the religion from the state's affair. We must understand that
all right, Colonel Munir Khalid, thank you very much for talking to us here at the morning show. That was Colonel Munir Khalid, who is a security expert, telling us how it is. We are going to talk more on this issue with former Information Minister Sherry Rahman when we get back, so stay with us.